Okay, Unit 4, column number 4, number 1. Number 1 shows a proportional relationship, and this will be a multi-step equation as we get started. So I went ahead and cross-multiplied and divided. So you can see that it's 10 times b minus 3 for the b minus 3 and the 10 when you multiply together equals the other side, 4 times b plus 9. And notice that when I have multiple things that need to be multiplied out, I have to use the parentheses. Okay, so now we're going to solve an equation. So we use our three-step process. Distribute, combine, then solve. Oh my. So we see that it's 10 times b is 10b, 10 times negative 3 is negative 30, equals 4 times b is 4b, 4 times 9 is 36. And you see that's positive 36, and this is a negative 30 because when you multiply 10 times negative 3, those are different signs subtract. Okay, I'm sorry, different signs are negative. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and solve. So this is step 3 of the equation. So I know I need all my b's on one side and all my constants on the other. So I see that my 10b is larger than 4b. So I want to keep my 10b here, and I want to move my 4b over to the other side so I can keep a positive answer here. So I'm going to subtract 4b on both sides, immediately crossing it out, minus 4b. I see that I have 10 minus 4b is 6b. And then since I moved my 4b here over to there, then I need to move, so if let me do my little saying I always do, if I go here to here, I got to move that to there. So I'm going to add 30 to both sides on this side. That way I am putting one term on each side. Okay, so then 36 plus 30 is 66. Okay, so we're left with 6b equals 66, divide by 6 on both sides. 66 divided by 6 is 11. Number 2, we're trying to find some missing angles here. So they're giving us a right angle, which we always know is 90 degrees, and they're giving us that A is 73, so they're telling us here, and we just got to find the missing one. So we would subtract 180 minus 163 because you can see that 90 plus 73 is 163. We subtract and we find that it's 17. Number 3. Okay, so number 3 says, what is the area of the shaded region? So it's not as bad as it looks. As r equals 4, that's telling us the radius of a semicircle. Well, we know 2 semicircles make 1 circle. So if I find the area of the whole circle, it actually takes care of both semicircles. So I'm going to find the area with a circle of radius of 4. So my formula is a equals pi r squared. So 3.14 n for pi times 16, and I would multiply by 16 because I have to do r squared, which would be 4 squared. I multiply those out, and I find that the area of the entire circle, or 2 semicircles, is 50.24 units squared. Okay, so now I'm going to find the area of the rectangle that is shown, and it's in the form of a square from the information they're giving us, because if we know what the radius is, we can find the diameter, which is the total length of the rectangle. So that would be 4 times 2, because we need 2 radius lengths to find the diameter. So that would be 8. Okay, so we know that one side is 8, and we are assuming the other side is 8 because what is given. So it's 8 times 8, which is 64. So that's the area of the rectangle. And we can subtract the area from the rectangle and the area of the total circle area to find the shaded region, what is left. So we're going to subtract here, and I find that it's 13.76 units squared of area. Alright, number 4. We're solving an equation here. They're giving us the area for column 3, number 4, which is 452.39 feet squared. So we're going to set this equation up because we know that that equals pi r squared. So we're going to have to solve for the radius to even begin to find out what the circumference would be. So we divide by pi on both sides, noticing here, immediately crossing this out, and in the calculator you'll get 144 I believe it's 144.07 or something like that. So we're going to round it to 144. And this definitely goes into some 8th grade math here. but I know you're ready for it, so here we go. We have to get rid of this square, so this r square, and then the only way to get rid of a square is to take the square root of the number, and this is the inverse operation of the exponent. So we're going to take the square root of the number on both sides. So the square root of 144, eventually you'll have it memorized, would be 12. Okay, so it turns into a nice whole number. So we're going to use the radius to find the circumference. With the circumference formula, it's 2 pi r when it includes radius, and we have 2 times pi times 12. So now we're going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 12, which is 24. 24 times pi is 75.36 feet for the circumference of the circle. All right, number 5. A little bit of a break here. Not so difficult. Number 5, or not so much of a challenge, hopefully. Number 5, they're asking for which of the following cross-section, or is not a cross-section of a sphere. And the only one that would remotely look like a possibility, hopefully to you, would be a cylinder, because cylinder is not considered a cross-section. When we're talking about cross-sections, they are 2D shapes. So a cylinder is a 3D shape, and so even if we were able to cut a sphere in any possible direction, we would never be able to get a cylinder out. Number 6, we're going to solve this equation to find the missing angle. So we see that we have a complementary set of angles here. They're adjacent to each other, and they add up to 90 degrees. So we're going to say that 3x plus 2 plus x plus 16 equals 90 degrees. So we're going to combine like terms. 3x plus x is 4x, and then 2 plus 16 is 18. Now we're going to solve. So of course we do our adding and subtracting first. So we're subtracting 18 on both sides. 90 minus 18 is 72. Now we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. 72 divided by 4 is 18. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is, I drew the picture here at the best of my drawing abilities, and we're just filling in the missing angle. So you have to just start with where the most information is given. So I see most information is given on the straight line. So I'm going to add 50 plus 45 together, subtract from 180, and I will find that missing angle of 85. Now that I have the inside of the triangle, one more angle, then I can add my 85 plus 75, and then subtract that from 180, and I find that it's 20. Number 8, kind of the same concept here. We're going to just draw and fill in the missing angles. So we have to use what they're giving us. So we have the most information with the triangle of 21 and 58 degrees. We can find the third angle in the triangle by subtracting 180. I find that it's 101. And then we can use our rule of vertical angles, which are congruent, to show that they're both the same, 101 degrees. And now since I have 101 degrees, now I can find 49 degrees, because when I add 101 plus 30 and subtract from 180, it's going to give me 49 degrees.